the Noosa Mining and Exploration Conference 2019 at Peppers Resort in Noosa. With me is Mike Young, the Managing Director and CEO of Vimy Resources, a uranium developer with projects in Western Australia and Northern Territory. Mike, the first question just about the uranium price, the uranium market at the moment, demand expected to grow with nuclear power stations?
Yeah, sure. So uranium is an interesting commodity because it's very inelastic. The demand is inelastic. We can see what's being used in nuclear power stations, and we can see the number of stations that are being built and planned and are in the planning stages. So you can see demand a long way out. Sometimes there's a hiccup in the works where there's premature closures, but I think with the way the world's going now with climate change, that we're going to see less of that. So we know the demand. Now on the supply side, it's a lot more nebulous, and part of that is because the price has been declined for a number of years. Certainly Fukushima began it, and then Kazakhstan came into the market producing a lot more uranium than was required, and that led to an oversupply. But we've now worked through that oversupply, and we're actually heading towards a structural shortage in the next few years.
And Vimy's most advanced project, a project called Mogul Rock in Western Australia. You're through the permitting process for that. What are the next steps?
Well, not entirely. So the permitting process is twofold. The first one is to get state and federal environmental approval, which we have. We got that several years ago. And then the second part of it is just going through what we call secondary approvals. So it's like if you bought a house and bought a block and wanted to build a house, you get permission from the council to build a house, and then you have to get a building permit. So we're in that building permit stage, it's a pretty simple process, but it's bureaucratic, it takes a while. But we're going through that, and there should be no showstoppers there. Mogul Rock itself is a £3.5 million a year operation. That's the planning for it. It's about $490 million in terms of its capex. We're looking at ways of reducing that as well. That's Australian, by the way. And it'll produce about an NPV of around $500 million. Now that'll obviously flex with the price. If the price goes to $75, which some people think it might, the NPV is closer to $1 billion. So it's a big project. It's actually significant globally. But as some of your viewers would know, I used to run BC Iron. I have started mines in the past, and getting a mine going is the absolute best way to bring shareholder return.
And where do you think Mogul Rock will fall in terms of the cost curve?
So on the cost curve is very similar to iron ore, where you're dominated by two or three major players, which is Cameco, Kazatomprom, and Areva. So really that leaves the third and fourth quartile. We'll be a solid third quartile in that cost curve, and that's very competitive because what it means is that you push out the higher cost producers, you're safe in that third quartile. Worked really well for BC Iron, and it'll work well for us.
Mogul Rock's an 800 parts per million uranium resource. I visited at your invitation the Angulali project in the Northern Territory. Angulali is substantially higher grade, around 13,000 parts per million, 800 to 13,000. Can you tell us a little bit about Angulali, where you are with that and what you're doing?
Yeah, sure. So they do say grade is king, but like any other commodity, if you've got low grade and you use bulk mining, as we will with Mogul Rock, then it makes money. Now, Mogul Rock is around a $30 all-in sustaining cost for the first few years. Angulali is lower. Now, because of ASX rules, I'm not allowed to say the exact number, but it will be in the second quartile. And we have made that public. So Angulali is high grade, and that means that mining costs are lower because of the grade. It's an underground operation. It is very similar to the Nabarlek deposit, which is nearby, which was effectively mined in 14 months and then treated for 8 years, and that's kind of our plan with Angulali. Now, currently it's in an inferred status, so we need to do infill drilling on that, and that's something for either next year or the year after. Really what we want to do in the territory is more exploration to build up the resource base at Angulali. We have an exploration target of 50 to 60 million more pounds on top of the 25 that's already there. And then we have a second project called Suchwao, and we're really excited about that project. We were the first ones to actually push roads into that area, and we've done some mapping. And what we're seeing on surface is nothing short of amazing. I mean, the alteration, the uranium anomalism is really profound, and we're really excited about the drilling that we're about to start, which we announced this morning.
Thanks, Mike. Mike Young, the Managing Director of Vimy Resources, ASX listed, and the code's VMY. Uranium exposure, strong news flow from development and exploration over the next 9 to 12 months. Thank you, Mike.